If you're over 40 and you have stiff and tight shoulders, you've probably tried a bunch of mobility and flexibility things, but fine, the next day that stiffness still comes back. Here's a quick 3-move reset you can do that will actually stick. Now, you can do this on a pole, doorway, whatever. All I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this pole with my left hand and I'm going to step forward here with the same side leg. And the first thing I'm going to do is pull the same side hip away from the pole. So you can see here, I'm actually making this distance longer. So when I do this, it's going to stretch my lats, one of the strong internal rotators in my shoulder and one of the main things that I see that limits overhead movement, particularly as you get older. Now, just stretching it's one thing, that's fine, but that's where most people are making a mistake. That's not going to stick. We need to get stronger in this range. We need to get strong at the ends. Most people are weak at the ends, they're strong in the middle. We need to get strong at the ends. The way we're going to do that, I'm going to come into this stretch. So I'm pulling away here. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to push my hand down like I'm trying to drive this pole into the ground. So the first thing is come into it, feel the stretch, hold here for around 20, 30 seconds. Then I'm going to push down as hard as I can and I should feel all under my arm here start to tense up, but I'm tensing up at this end range. I'm going to do 3 times 10 seconds there and then I'm going to come up and just get a bit of movement through, retest my overhead position and then move into the next one. For this next one, ideally you'll do this against a wall, but just for ease of being able to show you the movement properly, I'm going to do it here against this pole. So ideally this would be a wall. My feet are parallel to the wall. I'm going to come at either a 10 or a 2 o'clock position, which is probably the most neutral spot for my shoulder. We don't want to be here popping the shoulder up. Notice how I come up here, shoulder drops back down. Particularly important if you're somebody who has so much stiffness in the shoulders, they have a bit of a shoulder impingement. Chest is up here. I'm going to lean into the wall, in this imaginary wall, and I'm going to, hand on the wall, I'm going to turn my head away. You'll start to feel a stretch come through the front of your shoulder here. Again, we want to get strong here. So what we'll do is we'll hold here for around 20, 30 seconds. I'm going to push in as hard as I can, like I'm trying to push through the wall. Hard as I can for 10 seconds, have a rest. 10 seconds or so rest, then 10 seconds again. I'm going to do 3 reps there. For a bit of a bonus here, what you can do is try and keep your chest exactly where it is and pull the hand off the wall to activate some of these muscles at the back of your shoulder as well. Now, a big problem I see with people who are tight threaded shoulders is they start to get good range of motion through all these muscles that can help to control and stabilize the shoulder, but they lack ribcage movement. So you might be able to move quite well through your shoulder here, but if you're leaning forward, your shoulder's only ever going to go to here. So what often happens is people will start to then move through their lower back, which feels like we're moving our ribcage, but we're just bending through our back here, and then people start to get very pinched and sore through their lower back as a result of their tight shoulder. We want to make sure you can move your ribcage so you get more freedom in your shoulder. We can just get a stick, this could be a broomstick or something like this, and what we're going to do here is we're going to tilt the ribcage up without moving the lower back. So you can see here, as I tilt up, I move my lower back. That's not what we want. We want to stabilize here and just move through the rib cage. Now, if you're someone who is quite stiff, you're going to find that quite difficult to do. Any movement there is a good movement. Make sure that you're also moving out of it, and we start to move our rib cage and get a bit of freedom here, so that once we're here, we can make sure that we've got a nice overhead position, which after the other 2 exercises, we are now strong in. Try this every day for the next week or so. You should see some pretty dramatic ranges in not only your range of motion, but more importantly, your confidence to access that range and your strength at in range, and even more importantly, some permanent change in your range of motion, because we want a range of motion that sticks and we're not chasing our tail every day for temporary changes. This would be a phase 1 strategy in our 4-phase Stretch Yourself Strong system. If you want to know a bit more about that, check out the website, some of our programs, and maybe even some of the other videos on different body parts here on YouTube. Any questions, please ask. See you in the next one.